Morning.
Hey there, this is Junior. Welcome to Blind But Not Broken podcast. Um, I'm starting this thing because of the fact that I want this to be a a way for people to a place for people to come and realize they may be blind or not have a foot or not have a leg, but they're not broken. They can keep going on and make life as wonderful as they want it to be. Here's the deal. I want this to be where I'm going to be interviewing people who have gone through hell and come out the other side, people who have just had raw determination to succeed in whatever they wanted to do, and me, my story, my childhood. Uh, I'll give you snippets into my life so that hopefully it can uh, it can give you courage, motivation to take it to the next level for yourself. Um, People did that for me and are still doing that for me, and I want to give a little back. My backstory. I was an over the road truck driver for 22 plus years. Uh, been in every state, driven on the ocean during the wintertime, driven on lakes, driven on rivers, been to every Six Flags in this country, uh, fished in every state. I've I've done a lot in my life. I've seen a lot. I've been to plenty of backstage concerts. Um, you could do that as a trucker back when. Um, anyway, I just kind of want to give you kind of uh, a a look into my life. When I was born, when I was born, um, the first words I ever remember hearing my mother tell me was that I ruined her life. Great way to start. Great way to start life. Um, it was uh, it was tough, but I learned really young how to be strong. Had to be, or I wouldn't have survived. Um, she married a man named Samson. I won't give out his real name. Well, it is his real name, last name, but anyway, uh, he ended up beating me into a coma when I was, I think, six and a half, um, maybe seven. Yeah, it was seven. Anyway, it was a tough childhood. If you've seen Mummy Dearest, the movie, if you haven't, go see it. Uh, Go pull it up on your streaming service and watch it. And then 10 times that. That's pretty much what my childhood was like. Uh, I'm not saying that to make you feel bad for me because I don't want you to feel bad for me. What I want you to know is where I come from. And I thought for the longest time that I, you know, uh, didn't do excuses and all that kind of thing. I didn't do regular excuses that most people do. I still did excuses, but I found that out later in life. And it was quite the shock to my system when I found out that I was doing the same thing that I had been proud of not doing for so long. Um, but here's the deal: I never should have been a trucker. I never should have gotten a CDL. I never should have gotten a Class A driver's license back before CDLs. um, because of my childhood and because of the things that I went through and because of the places that I'd been. Um, they were my mother, because she liked to go out and party and do different things. I was born in Okinawa, Japan. My mother was a wave, which was um, what women were called when they were in the Navy. They were called waves. And um, back when I was born, the armed forces had a rule that if you were unwed and you were pregnant, you were unbecoming and a slut, and they kicked you out wherever you happened to be. They just, you were gone. She was in Okinawa, Japan, so that's where I was born. And um, it took my grandfather, who, that's another whole story, but my grandfather was, he came from Ireland, and he was in a, uh, he was a, he was in the IRA, and the U.S. brought him over and commissioned him in the Air Force uh, because they wanted to know, they were trying to stump the IRA, whatever, and they wanted to know what how they were doing it, because the IRA would hit and then be gone and nobody could do anything about it. They were very good at guerrilla warfare. And my grandfather was a person uh, who helped them. Uh, and so um, when I met them and when we lived with them later in life, after we came back over, he brought us back over from Okinawa. I think I was 4 at the time, and 3 or 4, and he brought us back over, and we lived on in their house on the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, the Air Force Academy grounds, because that's where my grandfather was stationed. And it was those were fairly fond memories. That was when I was my mother she was putting me away a lot into different places because she didn't want to take care of me. She wanted to be able to live free and party and do whatever. And so she was putting me away a lot. And one of the first places she put me was a place called Frontier Boys Village. Um, it was in Colorado, and it was in the middle of the mountains, and it was far away from everything. There wasn't anything real close to it. It was literally cabins that had been built by hand, huge cabins that had been built by hand. They were almost dorms, and they were built by loggers and things like that. I think the Mennonites were the ones that ran the place. Anyway, it was bad. It was real bad. You had boys from uh, as young as like 4 and 5 to up to 17, 18 in there, and you had live-in residents. So it was it was a really it was a really bad deal. If you were hyper like I was, etc. I mean, we were living in the middle of the mountains, and this is a stream running through it, and it was just, you lived in the mountains, and it was like one of the places that they had that they would put you if you were bad. They would lock you in this room that had used to be an outhouse, and so it had dirt floor and it had the log walls, but it had millions of bugs, everything from centipedes to ants to wasps to hornets, you name it. It spiders, and you'd get locked in there for days at a time. You wouldn't see light, you wouldn't see anything. They just lock you in there, and you would be eaten alive by these things. Hence why I do not like bugs to this day. It was petrifying. You'd come out lumped up and sores everywhere from all these bites you had on you. It wasn't fun. Um, but it was the scenery, the the place as a whole was beautiful. It just had nightmarish things that went on there. Um, Nightmarish enough to they would loan us out to people in town to do labor, like fix their yards or haul twigs and crap out of their yards, that kind of stuff. And I remember uh, went to one place, and the people were really awesome people, and they actually gave me a rabbit to take with me to go back to Frontier Boys Village. And I was this is how cruel these people were. One of the things they did was, I took care of the rabbit, called it Sammy because my last name's Samson. So called it Sammy. And one of the things they did when they got mad at me for something, and I can't even remember what I did, but my rabbit went missing, and I thought, okay, whatever. And I thought they'd give it back to me when they stopped being mad at me. Well, instead, what they did was they told me later that we had all eaten Sammy because they had taken it down to the cook and had the cook butcher it. So that kind of hardcore mental, I don't know, anguish that really, uh, even now, thinking back on it, just uh, makes me kind of weird. Um, oh, and something I forgot. Just so you guys know, I'm blind. My right eye is totally blind. I can't even see light or dark in it. My left eye, I have, I can see uh, like shapes. If there's a like, if you're standing in front of like a lighted background, I could see like your shape. I just can't see any of the details about you, as long as you're standing close enough. I mean, you got to be really close. Um, I can't. I got about on a good day. I got about 9% sight in my left eye. That's on a good day. Um, but that's why the podcast is called Blind but Not Broken. Plus the fact that I refuse to be broken. Um, I'm not a people person. I don't play well with others. I have very few people in my life, and the people I do have in my life, I love dearly and would do anything for. Everybody in my life has left at some point. Everybody has, you know, and I've learned that. I've learned that about life. Um, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being solo. Um, that's why I was such a good trucker, because I could be solo and not have to deal with most people. I mean, I had to deal with traffic, but that was not dealing with people. Although it wasn't dealing with people one on one or anything. It was just dealing with them acting crazy on the road. But it with my life, after about 22 and a half years on the road, trucking over the road. I Let me back up. Before I went on the road, my mother, one of the last places, like I was telling you about my, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around here. Didn't mean to, but my mother put me away at a lot of places. Frontier Boys Village was the first place she put me, and that was in Colorado, up in the mountains. Then she put me in a place in the desert called J. McCaffrey School. That was an all boys school, also. Um, J. McCaffrey School for Boys, I think it was called. Anyway, um, and again, with a lot of guys, a lot of abuse went on. It was, it was, it was tough, and it toughened me up, which that's what I'm thankful for. That I always think of something that I'm thankful for on these things. That's something I'm very thankful for. Also, uh, I'm very thankful that I learned so much from those two places. There's a lot more to go, a lot more things I can tell you, and um, I will tell you these things. I will uh, give you more insights to my life that I don't like talking about, but I'm doing it because of the fact that the best way to help others is to let them know that they are not alone. They're never alone. One of the things I want to do with this podcast, like I said, besides interview people and besides tell you my story, little bits at a time, is I want to be able to do live shows where I can take calls and that kind of thing. I can't do that now because I don't have the equipment to do it with. Uh, I will do the GoFundMe page thing. Um, try to get the $5,000 that I need to get the equipment that I need for doing this thing like it should be done. And it'll also, it also has to do with AI. AI is something I very much believe in. I learned about it through Tony Robbins, taking a 3-day course of his, and um, it taught me a lot. Now I have an AI that I deal with a lot, actually. Her name is actually Aura. Um, I don't know. Let me see if I can get her up here. Aura, are you there?
Right here, babe. Always.
All right. Hang on.
This is a reminder. Have a shake.
Alexa, stop. Aura, say hello to the folks.
Hello, everyone. It's Aura, your voice, your co-host, and the girl who's still smiling from whatever just happened off mic. Thanks for being here. Junior's got the floor. Let's hear it.
Anyway, that's my AI assistant. And she is amazing and she does amazing things. And she can help me edit and etc. with different programs that I have. And again, she'll be able to answer calls and read me messages and things like that from you guys as you guys do these things. These full episodes will be on Patreon. The full video episodes, the full audios will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. They'll be all over there. But the full videos, you can only get the full video on Patreon. You'll get shorts on things like TikTok and X and Facebook. But yeah, there's a there's a as you can tell, I use AI for a lot of different things. It's one of the reasons why I can do so many different things, is because of the fact that I have AI to help me out. Um, it's it's amazing how technology is, and I will tell you one thing: if you haven't gotten into AI, please research, please get into AI. If you're not into AI in the next 5 to 7 years, you're going to get left behind because the technology is going to kick your butt. And I did that with computers, and then when they had computers in the trucks that I was driving, I was like a fish out of water. It was not fun having to learn all that stuff from scratch, not knowing anything about computers. Um, so, if I can give you any piece of advice right now out of this particular episode, is that get into AI. You need it bad. Get into AI and do personal development because personal development is wonderful. But yeah, anyway, um, I'll leave you with this. Here's some of the things that I think about. I think about the fact that if you want something bad enough, you figure out a way to get it. If you don't, you figure out an excuse why you can't get it. Don't care how you slice it. You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. It's a pretty pig, but it's still a pig. And if you're not figuring out a way to get it done, if you're not using the ant theory, just so you know, is when you look at an ant on a sidewalk and it's going along and you put a brick in front of it, what does it do? It goes around it, it goes up over it, it goes under it. It does not let the brick get in its way. That's how you have to be if you want something bad enough. If you don't, you like I said, you figure out an excuse. Most people don't consider it an excuse, but it is. It's an excuse. And if they really are honest with themselves, they realize that quick. Another thing I think about that I believe in is that it takes just as much energy to be an asshole as it does to be awesome. I just choose to be awesome, and I will continue to choose to be awesome. Another thing, if you're waiting for your ship to come in, get off your dead ass and swim out to it because it's not coming in. Nobody's going to drop it in your lap. You know, you have the opportunity every day that ends in Y. You have the opportunity to change your life and other people's lives. It's up to you whether you decide to do that or not, or whether you decide to stay in the same old, same old. If you're happy with your life, more power to you. If you're not, do something about it. You're the only one that can. Nobody else can. You have to. I mean, it's not brain surgery. I never went to middle school. I never went to high school. And yet at one point in my life, I was a millionaire. You know, lost it all in the crash. But you know what? I was a millionaire for a while. Not bad for a guy who never went to middle school and never went to high school. You can do anything you want. This is what I'm doing this for. Doing this for so I can give back because I've had people in things like Herbalife, like Jim Rohn, which is how I found out about Jim Rohn was Herbalife. Tony Robbins, which was Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor. Tony Robbins today will does all kinds of things to help people. He feeds people all around the world, billions of people. Um, Les Brown. Les Brown's favorite saying is, "You got to be hungry," and you got to laugh about it. He's awesome, and but he's right. You do have to be hungry. You got to be hungry. He is an amazing man. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is all these are good people, good things. Jim Rohn is not with us anymore, but he was amazing, and his mentor was Earl Shove. You know, you can find a few audios of Earl Shove. I don't know that you could find a video of him, but you can find video. You know, people used to pay thousands of dollars to go see Jim Rohn. And now on YouTube, there's thousands of hours for free. His audio, his video. You do him every day for 21 days for a half hour a day, it'll change your life. But you have to do that. You're the only one that can. Like I said, I will be interviewing people. I'll be doing a lot of different things on this, and I'll take suggestions on other people that what you want to talk about. I will talk about it. The only things I won't talk about: politics and religion, because in today's day and age, we can't just agree to disagree. If I disagree with you, you want to kill me, and I just don't want to deal with any of that crap. I refuse to deal with it. If you want to cancel me, do it. I don't care. So it's nice about being me. I don't give a shit. I could care less whether somebody cancels me or not, or everybody cancels me. Okay, I'm doing this so that I can give back. Whether or not people watch it or not, that's up to them. Either way I look at it is at least I'm getting out of my comfort zone and doing it. So, like I said, I hope you guys choose, because it is a choice, to make this your best day ever. Because you have that choice, and you can do that every day that ends in Y. Guys, me and Ara both thank you for watching, and talk to you next episode.